Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a comparison of the three Chanel foundations that I use. I have combination to oily skin, and the reason I say combination is because ever since I started using retinol, my skin has gotten a bit drier, and so right now I feel like it's more combination than it is oily. However, summer will be quickly approaching, and so that's when I become the oiliest. So we shall see if my skin changes during the summer season. But as you can see, I do not have perfect skin. What you see is what you get. There really isn't a filter on this camera, so I've got a couple of spots here. And so I just kind of wanted to show you the comparison of each foundation and how much coverage you're gonna get with each foundation. So the three foundations that I use is Vita Lumiere Aqua by Chanel. This foundation retails for $50. Then I also use the Ultra Latent Velvet. This one I just repurchased because Bloomingdale's was having a sale where if you spent $150 in beauty, you got $20 off. So because Chanel foundations are never on sale, you're never gonna get a deal on them. That to me is like the best sale I'm gonna get because these foundations are pretty expensive. The Vita Latent Velvet retails for $50. It's the same price as the Vita Lumiere Aqua. And in case you were wondering, I am B30 in Ultra Latent Velvet, and I am 30 beige in Vita Lumiere Aqua. So this is the bottle. I literally just bought it because I ran out of this foundation and I wasn't gonna be able to do this video without it. The next foundation I wear is the Ultra Latent All Day Comfort Ultra Wear Flawless Finish Foundation from Chanel. This is the most expensive one out of all the foundations that I own. This one retails for $60. It does have a pump versus the other foundations that I have here, the Vita Lumiere Aqua and the Latent Velvet. They are plastic squeezy tubes. You gotta shake them up. They've got like these little balls on the inside, so you've gotta shake them up before you use them. This is a glass frosted bottle, and you don't need to shake this foundation before using it. Out of all three foundations, this is gonna be the most coverage right here. This is like medium to high coverage. These two, this would be the lightest coverage, and then here we've got that light medium coverage. So this is technically light coverage, but you can build this up to a medium, but then I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of using this foundation because you're gonna have to use twice as more than just using the Ultra Latent Velvet. However, I have also noticed that this is more dry skin combination skin friendly versus this is the matte version of this foundation. That's the way I can kind of make it out to be. I know that there was a huge controversy with this foundation when it first launched because this was a reformulation and a lot of people really preferred the original formula and didn't like this formula. I never tried the original formula, so I love this foundation because I have combination to oily skin. This is more of a matte finish. So what the bottle says is that it's a blurring smooth effect foundation with a velvet matte finish. It has, both of these foundations have SPF 15, and the Ultra Latent does not have any sunscreen. So pick your poison. The first one we're gonna start with is gonna be the Vita Lumiere Aqua, and I'm gonna apply that to half of my face, and then on the other half of my face I'm gonna apply the Ultra Latent Velvet on this side so that you guys can really see the amount of coverage. Now because I have just these spots and, you know, tiny little like acne spots, I feel like now was the best time to film this video so that you guys can really see the difference in coverage. Because what I find a lot is that it's very hard on camera to be able to see the amount of coverage you're getting when you have really good skin. Like if there's nothing really that you have to cover up other than maybe a slight uneven skin tone. So I am really excited to film this. Anyways, that's been obviously the longest intro ever. Thank you so much for being patient, but let's get started. So I'm gonna grab 4 drops of this on my beauty blender, and I know this is not clean, and that's just because this is the foundation I've been using with this beauty blender, so I didn't find a need to have to clean it. I actually clean this now every other day, just because I find that it makes my sponge deteriorate a lot faster when I have been washing it every single day, and these beauty blenders are not cheap. So let's get started. I've already obviously shaken this foundation. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now I'm just gonna apply this to this half of the face. I have already wet my beauty blender and squeezed it on a towel to get rid of any like excess dripping water. I know you're like probably like, Isabel, that is, I mean, everybody knows you have to wet a beauty blender. No. Let me explain to you something, okay? I have been playing and obsessed with makeup since I was 5 years old. True story. My grandma used to let me play with all her makeup, bless her heart. She's really that glamorous individual in my family, and she's like 80, and she still wears red lipstick everywhere she goes and red nail polish. So that's who I get it from. I want you to know, when these little eggs came out, nobody really told you had to wet it. And so all of you who are geniuses knew you had to wet it. I didn't know. I didn't understand the concept. And I think maybe it was because since I had oily skin, I never wore liquid foundation. So since I always wore powder, I guess I was more into the powder foundation videos, and I kind of really didn't, you know, watch many liquid foundation videos because liquid foundation was not my jam. It just made me oilier. And so yeah, wet your beauty blender, because I started to actually use this dry, and I was like, I don't understand why people like this so much. It's horrible. Why does my foundation look so cakey? Well, congratulations, girl. Moving up in the world, learning new things, new facts. My friend, I know my friend Maria, like when I told her that, she was laughing for a solid 20 minutes at me. She was like, I don't understand like how you thought that, how you didn't know that you needed to wet the sponge. I said, obviously you're not a good friend because you didn't tell me. All right, I think we're done blending. So on this side, that's the amount of coverage you get, and I'm gonna turn my face so that you can see the other side of my face. So as you can see, it is providing minimal coverage. You can still see my skin underneath with a little bit of, you know, redness, just a tiny bit. But it's more of that light, natural foundation. And I like for my skin to peek through a little bit. I feel like, I don't know, I'm very into that more light foundation look lately. All right, let's go in with the Chanel Ultra Le Teint Velvet on this side of my face. So you guys are gonna also see the difference in finish. Let me just shake this a little bit more because this bottle's new. Now I'm going to use the top of my beauty blender, which is clean, to apply the Ultra Le Teint Velvet. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna apply 4 drops. Okay. Just want you to see. I have applied 4 drops. And then I'm going to apply it to this side of my face. Also, these foundations compared to this Ultra Le Teint, they are much more forgiving and easy to work with because they don't dry as fast, so you have a lot more time to work in the foundation. Versus with the Ultra Le Teint, you really have to work fast because it'll dry down, and then there's not a beauty blender that'll help you blend that out. Learn that the hard way. You guys, I've made so much mistakes, and that's how you learn, trial and error. Trial and error. I am not a makeup artist. I do not claim to be an expert in the beauty world. I'm just here to provide my thoughts and my opinions, my personal opinions with my about my beauty products and what I've experienced. All right. So now you can see this face has a slight luminosity, not a lot because it doesn't look greasy. It just looks slightly more radiant, I would say, you know, a bit more natural. On this side, you're still getting light coverage. I feel like this foundation has just a smidge of more coverage than this one. But this is a matte version of this, and not super matte, because if you can see, there is like a very slight shine, and that's because the foundation is still a little bit wet, but it's gonna dry down to that more like a velvet finish. So the foundation does have a good like description of what kind of finish you're gonna get, because it is not a complete matte finish. This is a complete matte finish, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off my Vita Aqua Lumiere and I'm gonna put this on this side of my face so that you guys can really see the difference in coverage between the Velvet and the Le Teint foundation, okay? So if you're looking for something a little bit more luminous, a little bit more moisturizing, I recommend the Vita Lumiere Aqua. If you're looking for something with just a little bit more coverage, you know, maybe you've got a little bit of acne scars, you're not really comfortable, you know, you kind of want to have some hyperpigmentation you want to cover up, then I definitely recommend the Velvet. As you can see, you can still see my skin and my little acne spots, but you can't see them as much as you can on this side. There's just a little bit more coverage, and the finish is that nice velvet matte. So if you have more of, you tend to be a bit more oily, then you're really gonna like the velvet finish more. If you tend to be on the drier side, then you're gonna like the Vita Lumiere Aqua. All right, so I will be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this side of my foundation, and then I'm gonna go in with the Ultra Le Teint BRB. Okay, I'm back. I actually removed my foundation from this side of my face with micellar water, and I applied a little bit of lip gloss because my lips were a little bit dry. Okay, so really quick before I apply this foundation, I wanted to let you guys know I use this several different ways. So when my acne was really bad and I had like purple reddish spots on my face, I would use 3 pumps of this. I would use 1 pump for this side of my face, just from my brow down, 1 pump for my brow down on this side of the face, and the 3rd pump for my forehead and my T-zone. Now, as my acne scars started to disappear and my milia wasn't, you know, driving me insane, I started to actually use 2 pumps of this, 1 for one half of the face and 1 for the other. Now that my skin is looking great, in my opinion, I know some of you are like, girl, that does not look great. I'm gonna tell you right now, compared to what it used to look like, this is flawless. This is very, very flawless for me. So now what I use, how I use this foundation is I use one pump for my entire face. So I'll put one pump on the Beauty Blender, I'll dot it like this and on my nose, and then I will start working it in really quickly. And I just love the finish of this foundation. It is absolutely completely matte. If you are someone with oily skin, it's really going to control the oils that come out of your face. For the longest, this was reformulated. I actually liked the original formula more than I do this one, because the original formula, according to the rep, now you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, because it's not the first time I've gotten misinformation from reps, Chanel reps. I was told that talc was removed from this foundation, and that, I guess, was one of the ingredients that kept any of the oil coming through at all. Like, guys, with the original foundation, I wouldn't get any oil protruding through my face at all. With this, I think after like the 5 hour mark, or yeah, 4 to 5 hour mark, you do see just a little bit of oil coming through. I mean, I could live with it, but that's why I like the original versus this one. I have tried many matte foundations. I've tried the Estee Lauder Color Match foundation. No, my oils are very rebellious, and it's very hard to keep them at bay. And this is the only Chanel foundation that is my holy grail if I really want to stay matte most of the day. Let's get started. So what I'm gonna do is, since I'm only doing half of my face, I'm going to try to apply half a pump of this, which with Real Techniques Beauty Blender, which I doubt I will be able to be successful at. Oh, actually I was. So this is exactly how much I am applying. And then, as I said, I'm going to work this in quickly. I mean, already you can see this has way more coverage. I'm actually gonna apply just a smidgen more because I'm not used to using this Beauty Blender from Real Techniques, and it tends to soak up a lot more product than I like for it to. So just apply it. Basically, I've just applied a full pump to this half of my face because the Beauty Blender soaked up a lot more than I expected. And now, as you can see how quickly I'm working this foundation into the skin, that's because it dries fairly quickly. You don't even have to set this foundation if you don't want to. I do out of habit and also because I have oily skin, but I don't feel like you do. Feel like it's that good. Now, I know most people hate this foundation. The original version of this foundation, my opinion was very unpopular because most people did not like how much it oxidized, and this one still oxidizes a little bit, but not as much as the other one. Like the original one, I'm usually 30. I had to use like 20 in the original. I had to actually shade down because it oxidized so much. Okay, so as you can see, this foundation is completely matte. Like, hello. And you can barely see any of my little acne spots compared to this side. You can see them really, you know, you can kind of see them, like, you know, it's like that light medium coverage. You can kind of still see it. On this side, they're basically like almost non-existent. And you can really build up this foundation. And I'm gonna go in with second layer so y'all can see what's about to happen. It's very buildable. You can layer it on to your liking. All of these foundations have a scent, in case you were wondering. The scent doesn't linger, so once the foundation dries down, it's gone. It's not like you're gonna be smelling this foundation throughout the day. You guys, I want you to know right now, there is a wasp nest outside of my office window. I am definitely afraid of wasps and bees. I know, what a very strange fear to have, but I gotta get rid of that hive. That's it. I mean, they're flying up against the glass and it's actually distracting me because it scares me. I know there's a glass they can't get in, but my brain is like, girl, but what happens if one of them sneaks in through the cracks? We all have very strange fears. So you can leave me a comment below with the things that you fear. All right, so this is the second layer of the foundation. And as you can see, it's just a very smooth, very nice, complete matte finish. I feel like I'm the oiliest on my nose area. I would not say my T-zone, but my nose in particular is the area that gets the oiliest. It's like a lake of oil by the time like 5 o'clock hits. And with this foundation, that doesn't happen. So that's that Ultra Le Teint foundation on this side. And then this is the Velvet. Now the Velvet you can build up. And I guess I can go ahead and show you that really quick. Because if you find that this is too heavy or too matte for you, then you can actually use this, because I feel like it's a happy medium between, you know, kind of like moisturizing and like super, super matte. I feel like this one falls right in the center of these two. So I'm gonna show you what this one looks like built up. Let me grab my beauty blender. I'm just gonna add 2 drops. And I'm gonna work that in. I finished watching Dexter, guys. Like, life update really quick. Just want you to know. I know people were super upset with the ending. I wasn't so upset with the ending as I felt like it was anticlimactic. You know, I was expecting something with a little bit more, I don't know, excitement or pizzazz, something. I just felt it was very meh, you know? I definitely didn't like the fact that Deb died. That was unexpected. But honestly, I think the death that really upset me the most, and I still haven't been able to get over it, even though I already finished watching the season, and it was like 3 seasons ago, when Rita dies. I'm never gonna get over that. I'm never gonna get over Rita's death. It destroyed me. I almost stopped watching the show because of that. All right, so I've worked that in. So you can see, you can layer it up. And it still looks nice. It still has a nice velvet finish, not completely matte like this side. This side is matte, very matte. And it has much more coverage. So it's just your preference. But these are the 3 foundations, Chanel foundations, that I use. And I decided to do this video because I've seen a trend. I watch Amy Bliss White and, you know, Michelle Wong and Risa does makeup. Those are the people I mostly follow. And there's been kind of like a trend where they've been comparing Chanel foundations. Now, Risa's the only one that has oily skin, but I haven't seen like a review from her with these 3 in particular. And so I decided to throw in my 2 cents because I think that the videos for women and, you know, men with combination to oily skin is not the most popular. I think that most people, I guess, have drier skin, or maybe it's just more people with dry skin have YouTube channels. God knows. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents in because these really are the 3 foundations that I use. And so I kind of wanted to let you all know, if you have combination to oily skin, I recommend these 3 depending on what finish you're gonna like. Now, I didn't purchase any of these foundations until I received an actual sample from the store. I'm really big on samples. This is a lot of money. $60 for a foundation, $50 is also expensive, but I feel like these foundations are the cheapest out of that Chanel range that actually provide some sort of coverage, because I know Chanel has the Le Beiges one, but that's just way too oily for me, and they have that CC cream, way too oily. So what I did was I actually got a sample of these foundations before I actually purchased them, because number 1, I wanted to make sure I had the right color, and number 2, I didn't want to buy something that I had to return. I'm not the best at actually returning things at like department stores. I think that I find it much harder to return things at department stores than I do like at Sephora or Ulta, because where I live, department stores tend to be much further. I have an Ulta and a Sephora that are fairly close to me, and so that's the most convenient. So for me to have to return these that I have to buy in a department store, I have to do quite a drive to get there, so it's a bit of an inconvenience for me. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. This foundation dries within the moment. This one dries very quickly as well. The Vita Aqua Lumiere takes just a smidgen longer to dry because it's a bit more moisturizing and luminous than the other one, than the other 2, but I still love it. I still think it's great, and I really would have never bought this foundation if it wasn't for the fact that I got this foundation in the Chanel gift set I won at Bloomingdale's last year in April. And this was a foundation that was in the box, and I said, oh, I'm probably just gonna give this to my mother-in-law because I can't wear this. It's gonna be way too greasy for me. But something told me, like, just try it, and I did. And I think it has to do with the fact that I'm using retinol creams. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm using retinol creams, and it's made my skin more combination oily, and so I think that that's why I like this foundation, because it gives me just a little bit of extra moisture that I'm needing after, you know, using my retinol cream. So I really do like it. I can't speak about using this foundation when I am not using retinol, because I've never used this foundation while not using retinol, and I'm not gonna stop using retinol because it takes, like, I think a month, correct me if I'm wrong, for it to really just leave your system. And it has taken me so long to build up the tolerance to be able to use it twice a week, and it has done wonders for my skin. And so I don't want to go backwards, you know, I don't want to go backwards. So one more look at each side. I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about this foundation, leave me a comment down below. The current sale at Bloomingdale's is called the BFF Friends and Family sale, and it's going, it started March 26th and it will go on through April 12th. The website does not say that you have to have the credit card in order to qualify for the beauty sale, which is if you spend $150, you get $20 off applied in your cart. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I am actually on the website now, and I clicked on info and exclusions for that particular promotion, and it clearly doesn't state that you have to have the credit card or you need to be a loyalist in order to be able to participate in that sale. I do know that when you download the app, you are able to get 15% off, but you don't, that 15% off does not qualify for beauty items, because when I placed my order, I actually ordered the Ember mug, the copper edition, and the 15% only applied for the Ember mug. It didn't apply for the beauty products that I had in my cart. All right, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a nice weekend, and happy quarantine.